The Arizona Coyotes and Oliver Ekman Larsson have agreed on an 8-year contract extension. We're going to discuss all the details, and I'll give you my opinion coming up next. Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video here at Top Shelf Hockey. If you're new to the channel, thanks for stopping by. We review and discuss all 31 NHL teams. So if you're a huge hockey fan, consider subscribing and clicking the bell so you don't miss anything. So as I mentioned off the top, the Arizona Coyotes and Oliver Ekman Larsson have apparently come to a verbal agreement on an 8-year contract extension worth $8 million per season. Obviously, this contract can't be signed until July the 1st, but they've come to the verbal agreement on the parameters of what this extension is going to look like. It was reported a couple weeks back, I believe, that the Coyotes had presented Ekman Larsson with an offer to consider for extension, and he was kind of mulling it over. Since this news didn't break sooner, there was a lot of people thought that maybe he wasn't really interested in staying, and that maybe they weren't offering him enough, but it had been reported back that it was $8 million per year for 8 years. So I assumed that was going to be enough money to get it done. It's just going to be a matter of whether or not Ekman Larsson wanted to stay with the Coyotes and saw the long-term vision for the team to his satisfaction to stay. Now, if you compare this contract to other top D-men around the league, I think this contract, based on the current cap and where things are going with salary cap rules, I think the contract's fairly fair. I mean, if you look at guys like Erik Karlsson and Drew Doughty, obviously they're making less than $8 million now, but they're going to be getting new deals next year. So you know they're going to surpass $8 million by a fair bit, probably up around 10 or more would be my guess. But Karlsson's currently making 6.5. Doughty's making 7. You get Ryan Suter, who I thought was a fairly comparable type of deal. They're not exactly the same type of defenseman, but put up very similar statistics as far as points goes. And Ryan Suter right now is making $7.5 million. Obviously, that's a deal that was signed quite a ways back. So obviously, if you look at increases over time, I think $8 million compared to him is certainly fair. Brent Burns signed pretty well the exact same contract, $8 million. Obviously, now with Burns, you do get more points. So obviously you could maybe make the argument that maybe Burns left money on the table, or that obviously with the cap increases that Ekman Larsson's getting more because of that. But obviously Burns' deal wasn't done all that long ago, so I think the Sharks might have got themselves a bargain. Burns is obviously a little bit older than Ekman Larsson as well, and they're obviously not the same type of defenseman, but certainly he gets more offense from Burns than he do from Ekman Larsson at this point in their careers. So obviously, I think you could say that that's a pretty decent contract comparable. Oliver Ekman Larsson has been putting up around 40 to 50 points per season. So obviously, he's interested in staying with the Coyotes long term. Obviously, the vision that John Chayka has presented to him is something that he seems content with. Now, we've heard Ekman Larsson say on numerous occasions that it wasn't all about money, that you can only have so much. And that it's really more about trying to create a great opportunity for himself, a chance where he can be happy and have a chance to win. That seemed to be as much important to him as the dollar signs were. He's the type of player that wants to get paid appropriately, but at the same time wants to make sure the team has enough funds and enough resources to kind of try to make things more competitive around him. I'm sure he was quite pleased with how the season ended for the Coyotes last year. The second half of the year, they did tremendously better than the first half. And if that's a sign of things to come, then maybe things are looking up for this franchise and they will be more competitive moving forward. So let me know your thoughts down in the comment section. What do you think of this contract offer? Obviously, there'll likely be another announcement coming on July 1st confirming it's been signed. But at this point in time, there's no reason to think anybody's going to back out here. So he's getting $8 million for 8 years, so a $64 million contract. Personally, I think this is pretty fair based on what you get from Ekman Larsson and compared to other similar type defensemen around the NHL. So I think it's good for the Coyotes. And it's could he have done better on the open market? It's quite possible, especially with the cap going up. He could have played this out this one more year. If he had a solid season, he probably could have got paid more. Maybe had an opportunity to win a little faster elsewhere as well. But obviously he's a loyal guy and he wants to help this franchise improve and get to where they need to be to contend for a Stanley Cup one day. So that's good on Ekman Larsson. It's good on the Coyotes to pony up and pay him appropriately. And I think this is a good deal for both sides in my opinion. So let me know what yours is down in the comment section. If you're new to the channel, I hope you consider subscribing. We cover all 31 NHL teams. There's plenty of content here for all hockey fans to enjoy. So if you're new, hit that subscribe button. If you like this video, hit that like button as well. I'd really appreciate it if you did. As always, thank you very much for watching, everybody. We will catch you next time.